Hi guys, how are you doing? So what we are looking at today is the data that is after basically FOMC. So we would be discussing everything about that, and we would be looking at the fundamentals as well. But I need a little bit of time in order to see how the stream is running. So as we know that the Wednesday, we can see that we had a federal fund rates, and federal fund rates came about around about same, and they kept it around about 4.25 to 4.50. This is the rates that they kept. And after that, we had a GDP quarterly for NZD. It was positive right here, and we can also see that the employment change in Australian dollar that actually happened was negative, in a sense that the number of the people who were employed there were really less. So changes the number of the people employed during the previous month, they came really less. So it had impacted the Australian dollar, which we would be witnessing right now, and then unemployment. So what's happening today on Thursday? We can see that the trade balance for the Swiss is coming out around 3 a.m. that is the Eastern Standard Time, and then we have euro data that would be coming out, and then the pound claimant count change. So it is the change in the number of people claiming unemployment related benefits during the previous month. So actual less than forecast is good. So this is basically the data for unemployment that would be coming out, and then average earning index, that is a change in the price businesses and government pay for the labor. So it is like an hourly earning. Basically, data represents the 3 months moving average compared to the same period a year earlier. A figure excludes the bonuses and also related, but not include the lack of the significance, and it is a leading indicator for inflation. When businesses pay more for the labor, so costs are usually passed on the consumers. So it's like the earning data for average earning data for the pound that we would be witnessing. Then ECB president would be speaking, and the policy rate for the Swiss is coming around 4:30 a.m. this morning. They are most likely decreasing it according to this forecast, and there is a monetary policy summary also that is coming out, and official bank rates for the pound is coming as well. So as we know that US didn't change their rates, so let's see how the things run. We can see right here they have a voting system up here, and the voting system work in XXX format, and the first number is how many MPC members voted to increase the interest rates, the second how many voted to decrease the interest rate, and third how many voted to hold the rates. So we can see that each time the increase in the rates weren't happening because of the votes that are here 0, and then to decrease the rates, most likely they would be pushing to decrease the rates, and then again how many votes were to hold the rates. So most probably I think they would be holding the rates, and then there is their governor that will be speaking, that is Bailey speaks, and we can even look at her, that oh, it's a guy, by the way. And then we have an unemployment claims basically for the United States. So it's like the same thing that we are looking at, like here the claimant count, the individual who filed for the unemployment, and so it is basically related to the unemployment, but the claimant count deals with the number of people claiming unemployment benefits. It's the same data that is coming out here. Then we have a Philly manufacturing index data that will come out, shows the overall health, that how the manufacturing index is basically affecting the currency, that the level of diffusion index based on survey of manufacturing. It is a leading indicator for economic health. Business react quickly to the market condition, and changes in their sentiment can be an early sign for economic activity. So last time it seems like it is a bit bad, and similarly if the unemployment data is actually less than forecast is good. Then home sales data, and after that we have like a D and CPI for the yens and all that stuff. So basically I do remember that there was data coming for the policy rate for the Bank of Japan as well. It was coming on like March 18th, so it might be on the Tuesday data that we are looking at right here. So they also remain the same. So, and similarly right here, so let's jump into some of the news data that we can actually see if there is something out here. Hot Stories says that FOMC summary of the economic projections, and then there is a statement that is issued by FOMC. The Fed Powell, if the economy remains strong, we can maintain the policy restraint for longer. So seems like they're giving the idea that they wouldn't be reducing the rates or in maybe around this year or maybe afterwards. Let's see. So the news is for different kind of news is out here that the Fed would Trump is saying that Fed would be much better off cutting the rates as US tariffs starts to transition their way into the economy. So he's saying that the Fed would be much better off cutting the rates as US tariff starts to transition, that is ease and their way into the economy. Do the right thing. April 2nd is the Liberation Day in US, so he's hinting that they should reduce it, but Fed is not showing any kind of signals right now. And the labor force for Australian dollar came, and as we know that it came a little bit bad as we discussed in the calendar up there. And then we have New Zealand domestic products data that actually came out. So overall it seems like the things happened out there. So now let's jump into let's look at the Forex overview. So if we see the correlation up here, I'm gonna get my notes ready so that if there is something I can actually note it down. So when we see the Euro USD, so it seems like Euro has been down around about like minus 0.8% today. And then we see the pound is around about moving the same with the same strength. And then Aussies have like moved a lot more because of their employment change that happened. That were like really less number of people were employed last month. So, and then we had, and if we see on the other side where the US is base pair, so if we see USD CAD right here, we can see that USD is stronger in CAD, and then with the Swiss, we can see that Swiss is stronger and yens are again stronger. So because they might have like kept the rates, so that might be the reason, because USD JPY, like we can see, it's minus 27, so a lot of difference out there. And if we just compare it with like Euro CHF, it's down, Euro is down. If we see like Pound CHF, it's down. And if we see with the Aussies, AUD CHF right here, we can see it's like super down. So Australian dollar is quite weak right now. And if we see with the CAD, AUD CAD CAD, we can see it's quite weak right here. And if we see with the Pound CAD, it's around about like Pound is like a bit stronger, and similarly Euro is stronger. So today the Pound and Euro are moving in the same direction and with the same strength, not much of a difference. So this is how things are looking right now. So let's quickly jump into the charts and see that what we are looking at. So what we are looking at is this range right now. Still the DXY is down there, holding on the level of the election date where the election happened. So let's just give me a sec. So the prices are still down there, and we can see what I'm talking about. This was the election time that was there, and then the prices are still holding around this point similarly, and reacting to that level. Secondly, if we see the Fibonacci of this range, it's around about like 70%. The prices has been retraced back from the original level, from the top level, that is around about 110 level. So it would be much better if we ever like start getting a little bit of momentum around here, or a shift of momentum around this point. So that would be much more applicable if we think of certain position, because as this range break out on the upper level, then we can actually look for the longs. Otherwise we have to wait for the shorts. But what is much likelihood, like whenever there is like a resistance up there and the range start forming around this point, so most likelihood like the prices break out. And similarly, if the range is happening here and prices are unable to like push on the upper side, so we might see a move on the downside like that. So this is how a thing that what I'm looking at right now, that although the dollar has started going into the ranging, but it might break out on the lower side and can further continue towards the downside like that, because like with FOMC the prices didn't go up, with CPI the prices didn't go up. So what could be the next thing? So that's what actually I personally believe right now, that prices might be going downside further. Okay, perfect. So let's move to the USD CAD right here. We can see that USD is gaining a little bit of momentum around this point, making the Canadian dollar look weaker, but it's not promising in a sense that it can push on the upper side. We do have like these levels around here where we can actually expect a move again towards the continuation on the downside. And for that reason I would be placing my alert around here on the 500 level. And if we see USD CHF, USD-CHF has had formed this peak formation bottom up here, but it wasn't, it couldn't push much, but the prices came back down, giving us this small 1 to 3 pattern right here, then a pullback into this order block, and then prices went down. So most likelihood is that the prices can continue on the downside like that. So similarly, we saw that yens have like gained a lot of strength all of the sudden. A break of structure that has happened around here, any sort of pullback can give us a good momentum move on the downside. And if we see euro USD is still intact within the range, although like we had like three upside pattern right here, then there was like a sell-off that happened around this point, and still the prices are continuing on the upper side. What I mean to say is that this was the high point, and we can see that prices pushed on the higher side like that, and still holding on through this range right here. And this is the range which I'm looking at, and you can actually imagine that it has been like quite few days that prices are stuck within this range. So any sort of like a pullback and continuation move can be a really a chance in this case. So then we see euro GBP. So as we know that we have discussed in this heat map that most likely that euro and pound are basically stronger together, so that's why we are looking at this range that is being formed right here. And this is like a good move in a sense that the prices had gave us like certain indication of like taking a sell positions around here, but there was like a pullback again on the upper side, and after this pullback I tried to like take a position around this point. So as the price touched this level around here, and after that I kind of like scratched my trade because of like the momentum wasn't getting built, and it was a good idea to like basically close the trade on the break even, because you can see that the prices came back down there again, a pullback, and then again a continuation on the downside, and might continue on the downside like that. But we actually have to wait for the data, because we do have like a pound data coming out, so which might make things a little bit different in order to like push the prices on the downside like that further. So let's see how the pound data actually comes out and reacts. Then we have like euro odd, and similarly like euro isn't gaining much of a strength around here, but still the buyers came back in, pushing the prices on the upper side, came back down, holding this level, might continue like that on the upper side because Australian dollar is quite weak. So this is much likelihood that could really help us to find a bullish trade further. NZD, similar structure right here. So we can see this level right here, that it kind of like broke out of this level, pulled back, failed to break on the upper side, came back down there again, pushing on the upper side. So seems like that we can get this type of momentum move on the upper side after taking all of these positions out, because people who took like the longs around this point got stopped out, or they might be getting squeezed out, and then again the prices went on the upper side like that. So EuroCAD has been in the ranging formation right now, and we can see that yens are getting super strong, and as yens are like strongest today and Australian dollar is kind of like weakest, so we can see that the similar type of reaction that occurred in euro right here, euro JPY. But the thing is, the trend has been like in a bullish direction, although like this this was the big main resistance, and that was actually, this was the main support right here, where the prices should have held together, but they kind of like broke out of it. So much likelihood is that the prices can go further on the downside, can give us a good position with the yens. This is what I actually mean. And then euro CHF, similar structure, pushing the prices on the downside. Pound USD is like still on the upside, going in towards the channel formation. And then pound Aussie, we can see that although like there was like a different kind of break of structures, people might have like thought that the prices are breaking down like that, going down on the downside, but we couldn't see the break around this point, and the prices started turning all around. So this could even give us a wonderful position, like entering a long around here and pushing the prices on the upper side, and this could be the stop loss around here. So and pound NZD has given us like a wonderful position on the continuation on the upper side like that, because we can see currently that prices has came back down there, came back down here, retested all these levels, and then pushing on the upper side. Much likelihood is that NZD can give us like a wonderful opportunity here in pound NZD, because we do have a clear range around here. So this could be like our first target around here, and then this could be the second target up there. See guys, the idea is that whatever I'm trying to tell you is like in a journal formation, because whatever the setup I would be taking, I sometimes make the video about it, or you can like even follow me on TradingView. This is like my profile here. I just post like a lot of stuff up there as well, so you might like really love it. So we can see like there are certain people who are like boosting up my my analysis around here. Like you can see like 15 boosts up here, so it kind of like shows that people are loving the analysis, so you should also like look at that stuff. And now coming to like pound CAD, we can see that although like pound is strengthful, but right now there could be much likelihood that pound might even like break out of this zone like that and continue on the upper side, because we can see that the liquidity has been like taken, and the prices are kind of like still holding on the upper side, because this is the alert right here. Because the idea for this alert is that if we have gotten the break around here, then we could have like thought about like selling it around, but still the prices are on the top, and all those people who kind of like trade like overbought and oversold, because these things doesn't work in this environment of like Forex. And we can see that similarly GBP JPY, there's a big sell-off. Seems like yens are quite strong, and we got this beautiful measured move from this range to this range. Then we got like this move around here, and we are looking at this double top around here as well. Kind of like prices pushing on the downside. Any sort of like pullback can be a good opportunity of the continuation on the downside, but that depends upon the data that will be coming out for the pound as well. Then pound Swiss, beautiful reaction around this point. After like a breakout, price went up, got rejected around here, and now prices are pushing on the downside. And Australian dollar, really important, as it is the weakest one right now. And we can see that the Australian dollar is kind of like in an uptrend, but this was the highest level of resistance up here. That, let me make it more clear. See, this was the highest level of resistance up here. Prices went down, broke this support right here, retested this level, giving us a low hanging fruit trade, went back down, functioned here, pulled back, and again like got rejected from the same point and pushing on the downside. So this shows that Australian dollar is weak, and AUD and ZD is something that I got really interested all of the sudden, guys, because we can see clearly that the liquidity has been taken from this point. Up here the low formation looks quite decent right now, and what more thing that is, this was the trade around here which I kind of like tried. I got around exit around this point, not much of a big, actually, like the prices went down. It was a great idea to get exit on this point, and right now the prices has like functioned around, giving us this type of pattern, and now pushing on the upper side. And similarly AUD CAD, a sell-off in AUD we can see right here. AUD JPY has given us like a wonderful opportunity, guys, like from this point, and this was the level that was already marked, guys. Like literally I'm looking at right now and see how beautiful levels are placed, and we can see the reaction that is happening automatically because these are the levels that has been placed historically. So we can see that the prices has broken even broken down this support level right here and pushed back, and then continuing on the downside. Much likelihood that prices would be like going on the downside like that, with the yens and AUD-CHF similar structure on the sell side. NZD-USD is giving us like a great sell-off. I think it's more than even like Australian dollar. Similar structure with the CAD. We can see that Australian with the New Zealand Kiwis are like getting really weak. With the USD they are weak. With CAD they are weak. With the yens they are weak, and with Swiss they are weak. And similarly, coming to the CAD JPY, we can see that yens are like super strong and pushing the Canadian dollar down, and not much of a reaction in like Swiss, but the thing is that it's a beautiful move that happened around here. Let me show you guys that this was the break of structure that happened. Prices went back down, exactly tested this neckline right here and pushing the prices on the downside like that. So makes enough sense. And then we can see that CHF JPY wonderful reaction. This was the setup that was that I highlighted like in the previous days, that this is the order block right here. I never like removed it, and prices exactly went to this zone and gave us this wonderful reaction around here. So we have to like see it in a different, from a different perspective like that. And the prices were coming on the downside, showing that a lot of selling momentum up here. Prices broke out of this structure, came back down there, might give us a small pullback, and then we can like actually expect the prices to go on the downside like that. So oh, by the way, like Turkish lira, by the way, gave this weird long move, and I got really interested today in this morning as I found out that Turkish lira gave this type of long move, and the USD got really strong because of the political reason or something like that. That was like something that mentioned in the news is that I was just looking at, and after that we can see that a little bit of sell-off happened. I was more interested in 1 hour time frame of this pair right here, and we actually need to like, there was a gap somewhere here, right? This was the gap on 30 minutes time frame that I was actually looking at, and see how the prices have started reacting into this gap. And secondly, not right now, but if you see on the daily time frame right here, we can see that if the price like literally like can go up again, up like that, and this could give us a wonderful move and a good hope. Although I don't discuss like these exotic pairs, but it was just something that came up right now. So anyway, guys, although the DXY seems like on down there, but we can see that volatility is still existent, and there is like in euro, pound, Australian dollar specifically is the weakest right now, and Similarly, like the New Zealand Kiwi is also weakest, so we can like actually find a lot of stuff in there with other pairs. So this is like a small stream today. I hope you guys understand all this stuff, because the idea is the trade setups are not being found. It's just like a general analysis about like a fundamental aspect along with the technical aspect. So because everybody knows technical, so it's just like the entering at the perfect position. So entering here on the live stream, it's something that actually requires a lot of time and a lot of waiting. So what I do is I usually post the stuff out there for you guys, and one was like looking at my TradingView profile, because I update it every time whenever I take a setup. It is not only for my own ledger maintenance, and on the other hand, you can see right here that these are the setups which I actually have posted all around. These are the setups, trade setups, and if you can take a benefit out of it, so it might be your choice. So thank you guys. If you have any comments or anything you want to ask, so I'm available right now. So after that I might be leaving. Okay then guys, take care and have a wonderful trading journey, because the wonderful news are coming out. A lot of volatility might be induced, so be aware of that. Use the stop loss, use proper risk management sizing. Don't risk more than like 2% of your account per trade. So it's just remember, it's not, money is not made in like one trade, but it's made